Yeah, 23 points on 21 shots, 6 free throws.
Yeah, I feel like he got to get. I feel like I don't know. Like hearing you talk about the matchup, I guess hearing you talk about the adjustment made, just kind of think. I think big game for him to I think close the series out. I guess is if it comes him closing the series out in this game is him. I think just giving them 140 ball, 35-40 ball. And I think I don't know. It's
Yeah,
like I think he's such a he just I think he's an interesting player to have the regular season moments where only player that I really compare it to is kind of KD, where it's I feel like kind of you can play it a different regular season. This guy can kind of play it a bunch of different ways and play around with how good he is on offense, how much he can dominate the game. But it
hmm
becomes interesting, kind of the wealth of talent, like kind of like all right, like which and what player do you need to use at the right time and using that player at the right time and like yeah, even moment to moment read on the read kind of game to game. So I wonder if he lays like not laying into the passing or waiting on Jamal or somebody to make shots in the next game and how he can yeah, I think I feel like on the road in LA to one of these games or to go up. Maybe we go 3-1. Yeah, I think he's gonna need a 30, at least a 30. I think he's gonna need 135 in the next one of these LA games, just to kind of yeah put some pressure on. Yeah, I think them to make another adjustment or just to overflow. I guess with the feeling, unless they just if it's that thing. That team, if the Lakers, if more than two of those guys make shots. Like if more than like Murray and Porter like have a good game, like two of them are like hitting like from three, I think this series is over in the next game or whatever game that happens. But I think yeah, psychologically, like just to defend off what the referees or the league probably wants to be a long series, it would really beneficial for Jokic to probably just stamp this thing out. There's one game where you need to take a lot of shots and just dominate it. Like I think this next one coming up is the one like don't wait for or in those moments like
yeah,
looking for Murray or somebody else to step up in it. You have to kind of. But yeah,
yeah.
I didn't
No,
see much of that game though either. So
yeah. I was gonna
that's a
say
grain
the
of salt stuff.
21, probably like 24 true shots or something like that. It felt like he was pushing it like the first half. It felt like he was forcing the agenda. It felt
Yeah,
like he was kind of those rare moments, like probably less rare past in the past, but just like kind of trying to force it up because he was being forced into it, but it
yeah,
wasn't necessarily going great. Like I felt like his shot wasn't
mm,
his touch wasn't great that game. He had the 5 turnovers, 12 assists, but he had the 5 turnovers to go with it. It was one of those nights where it's kind of again, this team doesn't. They don't think they really ever take a significant lead or even like get a lead in this game until Jamal Murray starts going off in the fourth. But yeah, I think to your point though, I think what LA needs to be worried about is that because I think Jokic took the adjustments. Like, all right, if you're gonna make me the score, I'm gonna be the scorer, and it's like kind of got what you wanted out of the situation, and you still lost again behind like a crazy shooting performance in the fourth quarter from Jamal Murray. So like, what happens when you get what you want, but Jokic like doesn't go 9 for 21 because he's probably not doing that,
yeah,
you know. Although I will
yeah.
say that's a
Figures you out just a little bit more. Yeah,
I had a question. I had a question. We can go around the game with this still, but maybe not necessarily as AD. Somebody said AD's the second best player left in the playoffs after Jokic, which I really don't think I have much disagreement with, except for we're going to say Jimmy. I guess if you want to put Jimmy too. But I guess the question I started thinking about guys that aren't in the playoffs still. Because I think he's a better defender than Embiid and Giannis, at least at this very moment. Because I think Embiid can be that guy, but he hasn't been for the last season or so. Because I think when you're pushing for MVP, you can't necessarily be that guy night in and night out. And I think Giannis relies on Brook more than we like, just as much as Brook relies on Giannis. Giannis relies on Brook, which is dope, and it works for very good defense. But I think AD might be the. I think AD. I think what I'm learning from this series or these playoffs, just seeing what happens in that Warriors series, where it's just with that they literally like he's by himself taking away the ability to put pressure on the rim, essentially. But I think he's kind of what Rudy Gobert is in the regular season. He's actually that guy in the playoffs because he can stay in front of somebody on a switch or like showing high on a pick and roll. So I don't know, just he's really good. And I think as much if I don't know if I'm leaving this playoffs thinking anything, but like yeah, AD's actually the offense is coming and going every night, but he's do what he does on defense. He's doing it against some of the best defense or best offensive players in the league right now, and it's really effective. And I don't know where's the rank. Where do you still probably take Giannis? Definitely take Giannis over him still. But Embiid's had a weird year. Embiid had a weird out to this playoffs. I don't know where is any. Am I reacting too hard too early? I just saw somebody
well,
I'm
mention.
Giannis
hard to
one
say.
is. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I might take AD over Embiid. I never been that fond of Embiid's game, really. First place and just, I don't know, both of them made of glass too. So
Yeah, don't
yeah,
like
I don't know.
advantage with that.
I think I'll take AD right now. Just seeing like, yeah, his defensive impact just these last two series has been crazy, even though they're down 0-2 right now. But yeah,
Yeah, no, he's been. I think that's the success they've had in this series has come at what he does around the rim, kind of to your point. So, yeah, no, it's I don't know, it's just interesting. I think Giannis still. It's obviously Giannis is probably going too far to say that, but it's just a thought that popped in my head. But yeah, it'll be interesting. He's really good.
I would
It's
say
hard for it to be
I
consistent,
think
but it's
he's the
been cool.
best.
Go ahead.
I think I think he's the best basketball player. It's weird to think of like I guess to look at it as kind of Jokic. Jokic maybe a little above, but just seeing where he's at, even just the right now kind of things. But I think yeah, Anthony Davis is a better basketball player than Joel Embiid and Giannis Antetokounmpo. I just think Giannis has a greater probably yeah a greater career to this moment. I think he's more durable, and I think it's not like a big gap between them two. Like I think Giannis isn't far off from Anthony Davis, but I just think Davis is a. I think Anthony Davis is just a better basketball player, and then but I also think yeah, Joel's interesting, man. I don't want to get so disrespectful. I don't feel like he kind of compares to the other three guys. You know, I don't
Yeah, I
think he
think
really
that's it's a
compares. I
weird.
think there's a little gap there between. Well, like I was had Jordan says, like I don't, yeah, I never really loved Joel's game, and he's interesting. He's and it's not that he's yeah, and it's so weird that he can be literally the league leading scorer and one of the most impactful defensive players in the league, and I've seen him. Yeah, it's a playoffs. It's hard to just have not seen healthy playoffs from him, which is really just at the end of the day, yeah, this is kind of the sad part of it, I guess.
Yeah,
You really do about it, you know. But he goes out there and tries in the playoffs and puts the effort out. But yeah, haven't had a healthy one. I've never seen it. So, but yeah, no, yeah. I think yeah, Anthony Davis. To go back to your point, like I think Anthony Davis is a better player than a better basketball player than Giannis Antetokounmpo. Who you build your franchise around, who has a greater career. That might all be Giannis, but I think like head to head, like Anthony Davis is a better basketball player, and I think Joel is have some questions about Joel going forward, and I hope for the best for Joel in terms of just playoff success from here on out, no matter what or how, wherever he gets it, or however it looks like. I just hope he gets that. Hope he finds that. Fuck the regular season, Joel.
AD had another 4 blocks. This thing, I feel like I don't even be
yeah,
noticing at this
Yeah,
point, man. It's kind of crazy.
yeah.
he's
Uh,
like number AD's number one pick. I think like that's what his
yeah,
prospect was like at the truest
yeah.
at the beginning, you know, and like we were kind of shocked that he turned offensive around year three as much as he did, because it felt like even year two, it felt we were still like pick and roll, like everybody looking for the role, the pick and roll guy that could just I think dunk the back, catch and dunk, you know, in it like the Dwight coming off the Dwight Howard stuff. But yeah, he just kept morphing into this offensive player who was trying different things and doing different things, getting good at things, average at some things, but other things, just things big players couldn't do. But I think at the core, Anthony Davis was always going to be a great defensive player, and he maybe is the best defensive player when he's healthy and locked in and on a good team.
Yeah. So yeah, man. So yeah, just an interesting thought I had. Should talk a little more about the Nuggets. Jokic, obviously the best player in the playoffs right now. It's kind of funny how quickly that happened. Where it's just, oh yeah, he's kind of just the best guy left. I think I was going to say that was the last thing I guess on this point to bring it back to Jokic. It is funny because you said the thing doesn't feel like Embiid's really even in the same category as that threesome at this point. You probably could argue like within that threesome, there's like probably a gap between each of them actually. But to the point, it's just funny how quick it happened. Like Joel Embiid is the MVP. It's funny that the MVP of this season is the one that is that guy. But then also maybe it makes sense that he was the last one to get the MVP out of at least the him, Giannis, and Jokic group. But yeah, I feel like we should talk about Jokic and
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about just this Nuggets team, man. Because I feel like just because I'm a game removed, I'm starting to think more about it now. I'm looking at the numbers, but it's just a fun team, man. It continues to be a really kind of fun team. Bruce Brown had one of those games today. I felt like he hit a couple shots. KCP struggled, I think, more, but just and then obviously Jamal Murray. You should probably just talk about Jamal Murray with 37 points, 23 in the fourth quarter. It really won the game in the fourth quarter. I think the most interesting. I feel like it's kind of where the game fully turns. Is Murray hits a couple threes, and then this the Nuggets do what they do. They come up the court. I think it was off a steal. They don't get anything right away. But Jokic is just kind of bringing it up. And instead of Murray just like going to get the ball for another shot, he sets. They have Michael Porter set a flare screen for him to go to the corner. And both guys go with Murray. So Michael Porter Jr., one of the best three-point shooters in basketball, just comes off of the handoff top of the key. Nobody near him. And that's kind of one of the shots that turns the game fully. And it's just the team is a lot, man, because it's like didn't really have a great. I don't think you had a great game from any of the main four until the fourth quarter, really, actually. And I think Murray's the only one that truly gave him a great game, even in the fourth quarter. And they still pull it out because Bruce Brown has a pretty good night, and they do just enough at the end to win. And again, just Jamal Murray goes nuclear, and that's all you need sometimes. Yeah, I just wanted to say they're a crazy team, man, because I don't think Gordon's even really had it going, which makes sense because he has the most defensive assignments, probably has the most to do on defense in this series, but out here hooping still.
Yeah, I think he's their best defensive player, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, by far.
Yeah.
It is interesting. It's really a starting lineup with Jamal Murray.
They're just a really beautiful,
Michael Porter Jr.,
really beautiful built team. They're a nice built team.
Yeah.
No, I think Gordon. It's really kind of special to Gordon. I feel like it's funny because I feel like the way he looks versus the Warriors, he's had some good games in the playoffs, but I feel like it's kind of the run up against with them being depleted in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Have we only played them once, or have we played them multiple times? The Warriors.
What do you mean?
We played Jokic twice. Have we played them in the playoffs more than once?
No.
The Warriors.
That was the first.
Just
time.
the once.
Yeah, just the once.
That was the first time. But yeah, no, I think just Gordon. Yeah, I think just Gordon. To see Gordon, I think with Murray healthy, with Porter healthy, and with the addition of Brown and Contavious, like to see this team fully played, I think as great as it is to see Jokic with all this around him, I think because Gordon's been there Gordon's been through this kind of all the time with the players out.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is really cool to see him his offense. His offense or the numbers, whatever it is, can come and go, and his impact, which I think is probably the best part of it, like he can really just fall into the perfect role for Aaron Gordon, which is he can be the best defender on the championship. Like there's probably the peak potential to be the best defender on the championship team if you have one of the greatest offensive players, on the other end of you, or on the other end, who makes the things easier for you and everybody on the other end, and just. It seems like hopefully it seems like he can do it, and I think I just like this. I like seeing him. Yeah, kind of the way they play. I just appreciate talking about Denver. Yeah, just appreciate kind of the Jokic bringing the ball down the court, but I feel like with anybody being able to generate or start the offense with them, it's kind of how much Gordon has playmaking roles, and like even you see kind of a guy like Jeff Green kind of just be able to slide in because who's in his career been given that role in different places and different stuff. Like a place like Denver, it's like like you can just come on in, like anybody can. Like we all know how to play off of off of Jokic and what we're doing, and just cool to see. Gordon, I think, and just the perfect role for him on both ends of the court. And like he put the work in playing with Jokic through the injuries and stuff like that, and just getting to know how to play Jokic, how to what you do, and just a really fun team, really cool, interesting team, and just a team that's probably changing. Yeah, it's like they won the championship. We'll look back at them and team that changed the way we play basketball, like changed the way basketball is looked at. I think just because of Jokic, but also just like 2014 Spurs, like just the passing level and the what and the league's gonna be playing catch up, trying to do so many of the things that this team is capable of doing.
I haven't thought about that. Usually when
it's looking good,
Yeah, I haven't thought about that yet because we're a little too early. But that's a good point because every time a team wins a championship, especially when the team's superstar doesn't make you like. Somebody looks like Steph Curry or Tim Duncan. Like you don't just think they won it because this guy's amazing. Like you see a lot of people trying to imitate kind of what happened, like how it happened. You saw a lot of Warriors imitators after their run. It'll be interesting to see if Denver pulls this off. If we see teams trying to kind of, I guess, build your offense from back up, I guess is probably the best way to say it. Like start with your 5 and your 4 and build your offense from there. I guess it's kind of what Adelman's doing, but just like modern with the space, with the more 5 out instead of the 2 guys at the elbow type thing. But it'll be interesting to see the evolution because there's already teams. There's teams like Sacramento doing their own versions.
Yeah,
of it, so
say the combination success of like the Nuggets get into the finals are definitely winning it. And I think the Kings being the Kings and like wait, yeah, pushing the Warriors to seven like with that
Yeah.
with and the season that they just had a really good season playing with Sabonis kind of in that role in such a role. So yeah, taking effect after just for two ends of maybe something in the Western Conference each, that's a trend. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on Lakers Nuggets? Any
Is
thoughts?
LeBron okay?
Oh yeah, he messed up his ankle
It's
towards
good.
the end, huh? I
I
forgot
don't,
about
I
Oh,
that.
don't
yeah.
know. He looked, yeah. He's. I feel like he's looked
It's
about 80%,
yeah.
maybe.
I mean,
Yeah,
somebody said he was doing the just kind of settle for the three early in the shot clock towards the end, just trying to kind of hit the three to keep him in it, which is usually a
yeah,
sign that you ain't got it
yeah,
anymore, or at least for the game. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't know, man. I was almost thinking the other day, which he's LeBron, he doesn't do it, but if they lose game three, does he just kind of call it a wrap and just start the recovery? Because I think he's gonna. I think this is the part people aren't not thinking about because you're trying to win a championship, you got opportunity, but I think it's gonna be a long recovery process like over this summer because I think he's
Yeah.
pushing on the injury like pretty tough. I think he'll be fine at some point, or at least the LeBron James at 40 years old, which is
They
still
gonna win
like
two games. They gonna win two in a row without him, and he gonna come back.
that would be hilarious. That would be hilarious, actually. Ah, man, I'm just thinking of everything SportsCenter would post. The SportsCenter posts a lot of LeBron James. It's kind of wild. Uh,
Nah, no
but
way, no way.
kind of on that note, how do we see this going with Miami? Like, I'm like really confident Miami's winning one of these next two games. Next two games, obviously, because they're home games. And Boston hasn't looked great in the clutch, but I can't say with certainty. As much as all the stuff I've said about, also we've said about how good this Denver team is. I think we all believe it. I like can't guarantee they're coming home with two. They're going back home like with three wins. You know what I mean? Wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if we're going back to Denver 2-2. We went back to Denver 2-2 against Phoenix. So I wouldn't be surprised if it happens again. But I don't know. Any thoughts? Do you guys think the Nuggets still won over these next two, or the Lakers defend?
Uh, I think they go. I know LeBron's getting one. LeBron's not about
Yeah.
to lose two. I think LeBron get, or I think the Lakers get the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And ooh, I don't know. It might be a 4-1. It might just end up
Yeah.
being a 4-1.
I would not be surprised if this team ends up being not as much of a problem for Denver as Phoenix. Not because they I think they might be defending the Nuggets better. They're definitely defending the Nuggets better than Phoenix did, but just Booker and KD were on like kind of like that series is six off the backs of Booker and KD being two of the best scorers in the NBA. And I don't know if the
Yeah.
Lakers. I don't know if the Lakers got it. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a five. But I don't know. Again, wouldn't be shocked. Wouldn't be shocked if we're going back 2-2. But I like it. I would definitely not be shocked if we go five, or we at least go back to Denver with Denver up 3-1. What you thinking?
Yeah. I'm saying I think both series are going five is like my gut feeling right now. I feel like both go. I don't know who. I trust. I really trust the Nuggets more. Like I feel like I trust the Nuggets more for some reason, even though I don't feel well about Boston. It's more just a gut feeling. I feel like
Yeah.
realistically, I feel like Miami should win this series, but I feel like I trust Denver more right now to win the series, even though I feel like that series. There's no way that series doesn't go at least 5 or 6 games. Like six, I feel like six really. The Lakers Nuggets series has to just go 6 games from when going into the series. What I thought, but for some reason, I'm feeling pretty confident that the Nuggets are going to get it done. I think they get it done in five, and then I think Miami. I think Miami needs to win the next one, or else it's going the distance. Boston's getting back. They're a good team.
You think if Miami doesn't win game three, they're winning game four? Well, not necessarily winning game four, but it's going the distance.
No, yeah, it's going six at least. It's not. They won't finish it in four. Or five. They won't finish it in four. Obviously, they won't finish it in five. I
That's
think the
interesting.
Boston get. I think this Boston. I think they leave the door open by losing this game. That Boston can take it 6 or 7. I
I
still
think,
don't think the Negroes is winning though.
yeah,
I
I
think
think
they
the
gonna win, but
only
I think they can get a little moment. I think if they win this next game, then they're
mm-hmm.
gonna have a little momentum enough to either win the next one or win at home.
See, I think that's the thing. I think it's weird. There, it's more. It almost feels more likely for them for me to tie a 2-2 than to win Game 5 down 3-1 and at
Mhm.
home, which is wild. That's just because that's how weird this team has been really for the last 2 years. Like even going back to
Yeah,
last year where they lose
yeah,
game. They lost the game. They like don't maybe not 2 years. There was a certain point where they lost the game they shouldn't have lost, and we had to go longer in the series than
yeah,
they needed. So they did the same thing with Atlanta in the first round. Did the same thing. Well, again, the Houston thing is just it's a they blew it. They blew it, and they just kind of got bailed out because James Harden started to become James Harden again.
yeah.
So I
Philly,
wouldn't
yeah,
be
yeah.
surprised if they're the team. Like I just, it's hard to me. Like it's just, I think they're the team to throw it away. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like they play better on the road. I won't be surprised if they get one or two. But yeah, that one I feel a little more.
Who you got? You feeling this? What's your pick? What's your pick
Uh, I lean more towards the Lakers
for both?
Nuggets going. I feel like that's the one I think is more likely to go six, and it might just be as simple as one team has home court advantage and one team's going on the road, and one team that's up 2-0 is going on the road, and one team up 2-0 is going back home. Which I think the team that's going back home just statistically. But again, I get what you're saying because Denver they're just the more talented basketball team. But also every team Miami's played has been the more talented basketball team. So who knows which is funny if they're gonna play against each other in the finals because also the Miami Heat haven't played the team as good as the Nuggets, but they also have continuously played teams that they're not as good as. So who knows if they'll pull it off again. That's what I want to happen. I think that's where we're gonna end up. I think if I were to predict now, I would say Miami goes five. Miami wins it in five. And the Nuggets win it in six. Mm,
Miami 5, Nuggets in 6.
yeah, which is weird. I'm picking both teams to win on the road. I feel a lot more confident with Miami than I do Denver. Here's what I'm saying. If I think Denver can go six, I probably should say Denver in seven because I don't know if Denver's winning in LA game six, but I don't know. I'll wait for the Lakers to prove me wrong. They might prove me wrong in Game 3 and just kind of shit the bed. But I kind of think we're gonna get out of Game 3 and be like, the Nuggets are probably winning this series, but it's not. We're in for a series, you know.
Yeah,